Joan.
Supreme Court just this minute, Brianna, announced it's going to take up challenge to President Trump's order lifting birthright citizenship. You might remember on January 20th, his first day in office, he took his Sharpie pen and he said, this is a big one. And what he did was he tried to eliminate the automatic birthright citizenship that all Americans have had for more than a century. And what that does, it goes to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. That means that anyone who's born here, Brianna, automatically becomes a U.S. citizen. And what Donald Trump's executive order tried to do was say anyone who was born of someone who was not here lawfully or who was here on some sort of temporary status, that person's baby would not automatically be a citizen. It's a very, it's probably of all the Trump actions that have been taken to date.
Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. That is one of the dumbest humans I have ever listened to outside of, say, AOC. That woman is a CNN Supreme Court analyst. Every single thing she said was a lie. Was a lie. Either she is grotesquely stupid or she's corrupt. You choose. Either one's not good. We, quote, we have been allowing people to give birth and have citizenship for over a century. What are you talking about? A century? That would be 1925. What in God's name are you talking about? The act, the 14th Amendment was 1868, I believe it was. It was argued and debated all the way from 1866 to 1867 and passed, ratified in 1868. That's not 100 years ago, sweetheart. And when you look at the birthright citizenship, has the 14th Amendment has nothing to do with what she just said. Nothing. There's no way that woman is getting paid a six-figure salary to be a Supreme Court analyst. That's embarrassing. That is absolutely embarrassing listening to that. Donald Trump has found a massive, massive loophole. I don't even know if I even call it a loophole. Maybe let me start with this. No one understands where birthright citizenship came from. No one. Everyone thinks that it's a century ago, 2 centuries ago. When did this begin? Was it the ratification of the 14th Amendment? No. You'll be surprised. It was during Ronald Reagan's term. His Supreme Court Justice Brennan in the 80s did what's called a dicta, D-I-C-T-A-T-E, a dicta. No T-E. D-I-C-T-A, a dicta. And that is a side note, a footnote on a Supreme Court case they were hearing. Had nothing to do with immigration. He just put it in there that if you're born on America soil, you're a U.S. citizen. Hey, you dumb jackass in a black robe. You're a Supreme Court justice. How do you not know what's in the 14th Amendment? And I'm going to take some time today to explain to you about the 14th Amendment, because everything that you have been told, everything is a lie. Everything always is a propaganda lie. It has been. It's been that way for eternity. It's been that way for my entire life. I don't trust or believe in anything. Building 7 fell down because the hot fumes from furniture fires. 9/11 buildings fell down on themselves. They didn't tip over. An airplane flew into the Pentagon and there's no airplane debris because it incinerated. Goat herders from the Middle East took over airline jets and flew them perfectly in maneuvers that can't even be done. That pilots today say, no, that's impossible. Architects from the AIA say everything about these collapses make no sense. The moon landing. I just posted a picture today on X on moon landing. Just said, hey, look at this video. And it went uber viral. everybody's losing their mind because they've had it. They've had it being lied to. 2020 election was legitimate. A retarded, mentally incapacitated piece of wood, Joe Biden, got 15 million votes more than everyone else in the history of presidential elections. And then those extra 15 million did not show up for Kamala Harris. See, those 15 million people love Trump. So they just didn't vote. So they just disappeared. 15 million votes just disappeared, and no one said anything. Nobody said, wait a minute, 15 million people stayed home? Hold on a second. No. You just need to understand that the election was secure and that you're not living in a matrix. Birthright citizenship happened in the 1980s. And that bag of hair just told you that we've been allowing children to become citizens born here for over a century. I'm going to read you. I have my Constitution in my hand. I'm going to read this. There are 5 sections of the 14th Amendment. And then I'm going to go through and show you some videos, and I'm going to talk to you about the arguments and the discussions before the ratification, so you know where those senators' minds and hearts and thoughts came from. What was the genesis of the 14th Amendment? Why do they have it? Why do we need it? Who was it specifically targeting? And I'm only going to read you section 1 because that's the only section that is bearing on what we're talking about today. This is Amendment 14, ratified July 9th, 1868, not 1925, as that bag of skin just told you. 1868. And in 1868, they didn't let people just drop babies on the dusty border trail and call them a U.S. citizen. No. Quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction, therefore are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, and property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. Let me go back and reread the first sentence because this is the most important. And before I read this, let me tell you why I know that this is true. Because I read it. Well, yeah, doesn't take a genius to read it. I did 28 years ago in the United States Border Patrol. I had an instructor, a law instructor, beat in our head over and over and over and over again. In order to be a U.S. citizen, it's a 2-prong approach. There are 2 things that must be real for it to happen. And we went through scenarios and we talked about it. We looked at the Immigration Nationality Act and what the Supreme Court or courts have said about this. And the 2-prong system is what I'm going to read to you one more time because it's very, very important. And these morons keep propagandize us into believing this nonsense. And I'm going to tell you, read it again. Quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. What does that mean? And it didn't say born in the United States of America on America's soil, and then maybe, or you can be born in America or no, born in America and what's the second part of that and? And this is very, very, very crucial. You must be in the jurisdiction thereof. And I'm going to play you videos of the senator that was the lead senator on this ratification. His name is Howard. Senator Howard, and well, hold on one second before you play that, Nick. I want to just kind of set this up because it's. Let me give you a scenario. And I've talked about this before. Let's say that a German couple, husband and wife, and if you ever been around Germans, they go on, quote, holiday. That's our vacations, the holiday. And they plan it for years in advance. And Germans are stubborn. They're going to go on holiday. I don't care what's going on. They're going on holiday. They already prepaid for it, everything. So this husband and wife, 7.5 months pregnant, they're going to the Grand Canyon. And they love going to the Grand Canyon. So they go to the Grand Canyon, they up and down, up and down, up and down, hiking hills, taking pictures, doing selfies. And because of all that activity, up and down, the pregnant woman's water breaks. And she begins to have a baby. They call the ambulance and the park service, and they rush an ambulance over to her. And they're both here on a visitor visa. And they rush her to the hospital, and she gives birth. That baby was born in America. But it was not born under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. What jurisdiction has control over that individual, that mother? Well, that'd be Germany. So that is a German baby. No one argues that. No one argues that. But that bag of skin will tell you that's a U.S. citizen. Now let's go to another scenario. I'm working on the border as I did, and I'm out in Arizona or somewhere really dirty and dusty in California in the Eastern Corridor. And a Guatemalan pregnant woman, 9 months pregnant, she's busting, her belly's about to explode, jumps off the fence, 10 feet, bam, hits the ground, water breaks. Ambulance can't even get there in time, and she drops her Guatemalan child on the dirty, dusty trail. That was an illegal alien, not a legal visa holder, an illegal alien. And she has a baby in America, and she's from Guatemala. The baby was born in America, yes, but there is no and because she's not in the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So that baby is a Guatemalan baby. And when you begin to understand what the 14th Amendment was, it was for black slaves and their children to be U.S. citizens. Do you know who wasn't given citizenship in 1968? Do you know? Native American Indians. That would happen later. Are you trying to tell me, you are trying to convince me that our former leaders of our government that ratified the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution created that Constitution to give slaves citizenship and their children, to deny Native Americans that were here before we were, and they denied them Native Americans. However, in the future, they were going to allow illegal immigrants and legal immigrants to just drop babies in America and they become U.S. citizens. Are you really going to have that argument? Who is going to argue against this in the Supreme Court? I can't wait to hear it. I know DEI, Ketanji Brown, whatever, that nut job is going to vote for birthright citizen. You know, Sotomayor, who is a stone cold feminist racist shield vote, Kagan, with all of her hair falling out, she'll vote too. That's 3. Which one of the gutless Republicans will vote? It'll be 5-4. One of the gutless Republicans will vote. Amy Barrett Comer, or who's the other really scumbag? Chief Justice Roberts. Yeah, one of those two. Hopefully one of them won. I believe it'll be 5-4. And when it becomes 5-4, the whole foundation will shake to its core. This was never the intent to have people come into America, either be maternity tourism through China, where they just fly over here and have midwives give birth to babies in the bathtubs in a Holiday Inn. or illegal aliens crossing the border in Arizona, Texas, California, and just squatting and dropping babies, or the billions of dollars in maternal care for illegal aliens in California. There's no way in hell they pass this, or they rule against this. And here's the dirty, dirty, dirty secret. This has never been brought before the Supreme Court. Why? Why has this not been? Again, I'm going to state this openly and with complete confidence. Without Donald Trump, this is never even discussed. They don't even discuss it. Who's going to discuss it? Marco Rubio? J.D. Vance? John Thune? Speaker Johnson? Mitch McConnell's going to come out of his stupor? Jim Jordan's going to roll his sleeves up and talk about birthright citizenship? Is Ted Israeli Cruz going to do that? No. No one would. Only one man had the courage to even talk about it. And not only talk about it, to say, yeah, take it to the Supreme Court. I want to see these people rule on this. It is clear as day, and you have been propagandized to believe all you have to be born in is in America. That's not true. You have to be under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. It's that cut and dry. Will the three feminist, very unattractive, quasi-lesbian Supreme Court justice, will they side with the Democrats? Of course they will. Of course they will. They're so anti-American, so grotesquely incompetent to hold that position. All three of them. All three of them. And not like our side's much better. John Roberts is so compromised. You know it is when you read the Obamacare, when he switches in the middle of the night. He's compromised. Our whole government's compromised. I want to show you a video. This is a video about Senator Jacob Howard. This is what he talked about. This is what he wanted. He actually said, before you play, go ahead and play this and we'll talk about it, Nick.
Does the 14th Amendment award U.S. citizenship to all people born in the U.S.? Yes or no? The answer is no. In addition to being born in the United States, the 14th Amendment also requires people to be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States in order to become citizens. Jacob Howard, the U.S. Senator who proposed this language, stated, "This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, or who belong to families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons." Howard also said, "The word jurisdiction, as here employed, ought to be construed as to imply a full and complete jurisdiction on the part of the United States. That is to say, the same jurisdiction in extent and quality as applies to every citizen of the United States now." The 14th Amendment was adopted to guarantee that the Civil Rights Act of 1866 was constitutional. This law gave citizenship to people of every race and color, without regard to any previous condition of slavery or involuntary servitude. It's important to note that this Civil Rights Act explicitly excludes people who are subject to any foreign power.
It's a jurisdiction. Senator Howard argued on the floor of the Senate for ratification that this would not, of course, include ambassadors, foreign leaders. So you're telling me Esmeralda, the Guatemalan pregnant lady that has a baby named Dahlia on the dirty, dirty border road, is going to get citizenship, but the ambassador from Japan or the ambassador from England, the ambassador from Germany, their wives have children there and they don't get citizenship? Or is that what you're arguing with me on that? Lawyers are scumbags. And the person that's going to argue for birthright citizenship is going to twist and manipulate, but he can't. He can try. And the three lesbian quasi Broadway show Supreme Court justices, they're going to just vote for the left no matter what. But it's very cut and dry. born in the United States of America and jurisdiction thereof, complete jurisdiction. This was about citizenship for Americans only, not foreigners, not ambassadors. How is it that someone that is like a CNN Supreme Court analyst, that's stupid? Honestly, can someone answer that to me? How could she be that dumb? She can't be that intentionally stupid. She just can't. She had to have read the Constitution, or maybe not. Here's another one. I want to give you another great example of the 14th Amendment being explained. I love using average, everyday people and people that create graphics. I love it because they have more true intelligence than any person is going on CNN. Go ahead and play this, please.
14th Amendment actually states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. The addition of the language and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is the key to understanding why birthright citizenship, as it is applied in modern times, is not justified by the 14th Amendment and is unconstitutional. There is evidence to this as well. When you look at the congressional record at the debate of the 14th Amendment, you see that the authors of the 14th Amendment, specifically Senator Howard from Michigan, establishes the understanding of the term and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In this congressional record, it says, this will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. By the intent of the drafters of the 14th Amendment, language means that you don't get to come on a visitor's visa, you're not a foreigner, on our soil, dropping a baby and calling it America. Under proper application of constitutional law principles, if you are confused about the term within the Constitution, you don't get to go to the courts and make it up. The first place you have to go is the intent of the drafters. The intent of the drafters is recorded in congressional record. Birthright citizenship is not an intention of the 14th Amendment. It is an invention of activist judges.
She's 100% right. But look at what it's done to the United States of America. Look at what it's done to our nation. It has demographically destroyed the United States of America. Demographically. And Americans are pissed off. Americans have had it. Americans, I have been saying this for about 6 months. This is the age of awakening. Americans are waking up and they're looking at our nation and they're going, I don't recognize her. What happened to her? And they're beginning to listen to people like me, other social media people, influencers, people that Victor Davis Hanson, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. And they're going, what you're saying is true? Well, yeah, we've been saying this for a very long time. What don't you understand? You trust your government. The same government that said that it's my body, my choice, except you're going to take a shot over and over and over again because vaccines work, but this one kind of needs boosters. And this is the pandemic of the unvaccinated. That government, God. Dear Lord, please give our nation wisdom. Please give our nation discernment. Please allow us to see how evil our government is. The same government that has murdered over 60 million babies. The same government that has told us over and over and over again to mutilate our children, sexually mutilate our children. The same people, God, that have forced us to say that men can have babies. The same people, God, the evil people, God, that allowed transgender freaks into our schools and our libraries and our social gatherings and dance naked in front of our children. Please, God, give us wisdom. That's the only thing I can pray anymore. Because I don't think that we can be saved without his grace. There is nothing we can do. There's no change or trying to correct the path of this giant aircraft carrier to turn it around. No, we're rudderless. We're morally rudderless. I want to show you video number 4, Nick. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time, but not apologize for the language, because language is important. And there are curse words in this, but this is the sentiment of Americans. We have hit our limit, and we are tired of our nation. We're tired of us being second-class citizens in our own nation. We're tired of being abused by the elites. And all of the elites, the rhinos, the left, everyone that's doing this, history shows the tide turns, and when it does, the pendulum swings back. You better be ready, really, really, bags packed, ready to run. Because once that mob is released, they're going to be so bloodthirsty. They're going to be so resentful. They're going to be so angry at you. And no one's going to be able to help you. Even if I wanted to, which I do not, and I will not, I can't even help you. No one can. Play this for me, please, Nick.
Donald Trump signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship. And I was like, wow, you can fucking do that? Like, how do you can change law? No, that is the law. Get ready for some fucking history. Guess what I did? I got in this little fucking box we got right here. Yeah, all the information in the world. And this is why history is important. First, let's cover the 14th Amendment. What was the 14th Amendment? That gave citizenship to the freed slaves' children that were born here in the U.S. That's what that was for. And guess what? The Supreme Court has ruled, and Congress has even acted to expand the 14th Amendment several times. Never does it cover illegals having kids here. Let me run through it for you. In 1868, they passed the 14th. In 1884, some Chinese people, they got some kids here. And the Supreme Court rules very clear. If you are not in the United States legally, your kids are not U.S. citizens. Oh, imagine that. 1898, they clarify it again. Chinese citizens again. Got green cards, they're here legally. The Supreme Court says, yeah, if you are in the U.S. and you're not a U.S. citizen, but you are here legally, guess what? Your kids are citizens. All spelled out in the Supreme Court. That's the law. 1917, Congress is like, dude, we need more people for this fucking war. We need to make Indians and Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens. So that's what they did. They did that, made Puerto Rican citizens, and Congress did that. Congress did it 1917, Puerto Ricans become U.S. citizens. 1924, all Indians become U.S. citizens. How in the fuck then, you ask, did these goddamn illegals start having anchor babies? It's the crooked fuck LBJ. And as we're all about to find out, as the information keeps piddling out about JFK's assassination, LBJ had a fucking hand in setting that up. Hired Mac Wallace. Look that guy up. Mac Wallace. Yep. And see who's around him in his circle in Texas. It's an ex-president as well. LBJ, giant piece of shit. Somewhere in his term, his State Department just starts handing out U.S. birth certificates to anybody who's born in the U.S. They just did it. No act of Congress. No fucking nothing. The fucking sneaky fuck snake Democrats have been doing this shit since we took their fucking slaves away in 1863. Like, this shit is out of fucking hand. Donald Trump fucking slaying it over here, bringing us back to this, the fucking republic. We are not a democracy, we are a republic. Bringing it around to the whole solution, guess who else was a republic? Rome. Guess who else ran into the same problem? Rome. Guess what they did? They created the plebs. They had the plebs and the citizens. The plebs, they had all the fucking access to everything the Roman citizens had. Guess what? Plebs can't vote. There you go. It's as easy as that. If Congress wants to act, we can create a citizen or a level of nationality within the United States that can be here, pay taxes, have access to all that, go to school, not be a citizen. You can't vote. You're welcome. Long live the Republic. Fucking history kicks ass.
We have no history. We have no understanding of our history because we've been dumbed down. Doesn't take a long time to read this. It really doesn't. It's pretty damn clear what we're supposed to do. You better be ready to fight for your country because they're going to fight to destroy it, and they're winning. They're winning every single day. Donald Trump has got to exert his executive authority at maximum strength. Stop leaning on the judicial system to help you. They're corrupt. You know they are. You have American history presidential precedent to ignore the courts. They have overstepped their bounds, and you as executive can exert your executive authority over what they have done, and it's time to do it now, sir. Best way you can support me, there are a multitude of ways, is go to my website, jjcarrell.com, or my Substack, jjcarrell.substack.com. I have free stuff galore. But I also have a paid subscriber section that has tons of stuff just for my paid subscribers. Either way, don't care. I just ask you to go there and please just check it out. jjcarrell.com and jjcarrell.substack.com. Another way that I get asked, I must get, this is not exaggeration, 1, 2, 3 emails a day saying, love your show. I think you're shadow banned, but anyway, I love your show. I've been following you for now almost 3 years. How can I support? How can I send you? I've already got your books. I got your DVDs. I subscribe to the bank on your, excuse me, subscribe to the bank on your website, and I am a paid subscriber on your Substack, or either or. What else can I do? And after I got about 100 of these, I was like, okay, well, I really don't have an answer to what else you can do. So I created, because I can't do PayPal. PayPal has banned me. Now I can only use it through just personally. I can't do anything with any type of business because they just censor me. They censor me in one day when I sent my use them as my pay service for my documentaries, because they saw what is treason. They saw treason and they demonetized me. So I don't want to give them any money. I don't want to give anybody any money. So I came up with Give, Send, Go. GiveSendGo.com/JJ Carrell. GiveSendGo.com/JJ Carrell. Christian base. You don't want to give me money? You don't want to send a donation? I'm all for it. You know what I love about Give, Send, Go? They actually have a prayer section where you can just leave a prayer. And I'll be honest with you, I'll take prayer over money every single time. Every time I'll take prayer over money. I just came back from this really, really incredible Republican gathering in Missouri. It was quaint. It was about 50 people, incredible speakers, and then I was the keynote speaker. And when I got done, I told everybody, hey, I want you to get involved. I'm going back to work for the federal government and law enforcement. And they prayed over me. And look, I feel uncomfortable when that happens, not because of the prayer, but because I know that I'm so not worthy of anyone, like one person's prayer, but 50 people praying on me. I mean, I devour it. I want it, but I'm so not worthy of it at all. So best way to do it, GiveSendGo.com/JJ Carrell. Support the program, allow us to continue. And lastly, the third way, one of the best way is please support the companies that support us. Every time that I promote a product, me and my producer, we're able to make some money and support this show to go. I work full-time, he works full-time. This is a full-time job as well. So I appreciate anything that you can do. Go to sat123.com, sat123.com. I talk about this every time on my show. If you watch what I talk about, it's about being prepared. And there is no better way to be prepared than to go to sat123.com. I have Faraday bags that secure my phone, my data, and my credit cards. I have a ballistic backpack for my wife and my son and myself, a ballistic backpack in America. Can you believe we're at that point? Satellite with solar panels and a sat phone. I'm going to go and I'm keep going on the website and getting more and more stuff, but that's what I have. Why? Because I want to be prepared. You don't have to be prepared like me. You don't have to look through the same lens as I do or have the same perspective. I am just different. I know that. I see things very differently because of my time in law enforcement. I see the probability, the statistical probability of bad things happening become greater and greater and greater daily. So I look through it that lens. What do I need? But everything I need, you could use in your daily life. I'm just looking through the perspective of I need to be absolutely prepared. Go to sat123.com/JJ, sat123.com/JJ. Oh, my producer says both of my next two video links are not popping up. They're not coming up. You know what, Nick? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go one more step on this on this birthright citizenship, and I want to go one step deeper. And I'm just going to talk about this, Nick. It's okay. I won't even send you anything. Donald Trump's just put out a tweet. Just came across my feed, and he was talking about should he rescind the Hart-Celler Act, Immigration Act of 1965, and go back to the Calvin Coolidge 1924 Immigration Act. And I am all for that, because if you want to know the genesis of the destruction of our immigration system and thus the destruction of the United States of America, you will go back to the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. Let's go back. And what's Donald Trump talking about in 1924? 1924, our politicians, our elected representatives, made the determination that we were becoming a balkanized nation, that we were speaking multiple languages, multiple dialects. We had all kinds of societal differences, cultural, different icons, everything. So what did our government do? Shut everything down. They made a quota system off of percentages of current populations. That's the type of populations that were allowed in. They also created the United States Border Patrol in 1924. And then from 1924 to 1965, we had basically a net zero immigration. And in 1965, Hart-Celler Act, and one of the largest, the biggest proponent of this immigration act was the Lion of the Senate, the murderer, the sexual abuser, Ted Kennedy. And Ted Kennedy signed or co-signed every immigration bill until his death. So I lay a lot of this at his feet. And what did the Hart-Celler Act of 1965 do? It stopped almost all immigration from Western Europe, meaning it stopped all the white immigration. It turned off the spigot to our founding in Western Europe. The people that came over to America, we stopped it. And what spigot did we turn on? Well, that'd be the fire hose of Latin America, the Middle East, and the continent of Africa, third world. We opened the floodgates to the third world. Ted Kennedy went on the floor of the Senate and he proclaimed in his very arrogant and pompous way that he always loved to do with his head, that they called him the Lion of the Senate. I think it's because his head was so enormous. And what did the Lion of the Senate, after he killed that woman in the lake, what did he say? He said, there will be no demographic change in America. This will not upset the balance of demography. There will not be angry mobs in the street protesting. This will change no cultural or societal norms. Dear God, everything that he promised wouldn't happen happened in spades. So Trump is now asking, should I rescind the Hart-Celler Act? Hell yes, Mr. President. Hell yes, like right now. Right now. Turn off, ban all third world countries, all of them, all of them. Return to the demographics that made our country great. Turn to the countries that we all came from. We are not a Muslim nation. We are not a nation of Somalis. Somalians are not the fabric of America. Islam and Muslims are not compatible with the West. They are not compatible with the United States of America, period. I want them all gone, and I would bet you 70, 80% of Americans agree with me full-heartedly. They want them all gone. So remove them. This is a national security issue. Let's begin to act as if we are a national security emergency. Before I get into this story about the Somalis will not end. Over the weekend, I thought, okay, this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point that I believe that they are going to indict Governor Walz and they're going to indict Ilhan Omar. I think it's that big that there is nothing else they can do. I think Donald Trump is going to have to go in and exert federal power over the state of Minnesota. That's how much corruption. You had 480 DHS, Department of Health Services, 480 became whistleblowers. 480 said they demanded, they begged Walz, they're fleecing our state. And he did nothing. Oh, excuse me, he did something. He told them all he's going to punish them and began to punish those whistleblowers. So he was partaking in the fraud, just like Ilhan Omar, who entered into the Congress, I think 6 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe. 0 assets. In the last year or two, she now is worth $30 to $40 million. Are you telling me some of that $8 billion they stole didn't find it into her coffers? And I bet you're going to find it pushed through and laundered through her husband's business, his political campaign manager slash pollster, an analyst, whatever you want to call them. That's how they do it. They funnel their money through their spouse. And her spouse, just so you're very clear, is one of those really, really vile white men. Interesting how everyone that hates white men on the left ends up marrying a white man. Look at the very, very effeminate Don Lemon. Hates white men, except his white husband. Ilhan Omar hates white men, married to a white man. AOC, who's dumb as a stump, hates white men, gonna marry a white man. I mean, they're all effeminate. They're all like nothing that would resemble eat a red meat eating, slamming beers and cold green monsters and eating Snicker bars type of American man. No, they need very soft, impotent, almost kind of like a cutty teddy bear. Somebody that can never give any problem to them. They can just run over at any time. We have some of the dumbest, some of the weakest, some of the most vile, some of the most anti-American people that are in our Congress and are running our government. It is shocking. It is frightening, but it is shocking. Let me talk about one more sponsor before I keep going on. about Somalia because it is mind-blowing what's happening. Mind-blowing. And that is Carnival. I'm looking here because I'm looking at the package. Great package. Look, the packaging, not the meat. This is uncooked meat. Let me show you the package. Carnival. I know some people buy this, cook it and eat it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, I cook it and eat it because I love it. It tastes so good. But that's not where you shouldn't be buying it because of that. You should be buying it because it has a 25-year shelf life. And it's all natural. And you're supposed to stockpile it so when things go bad, you have food like protein. And that provides you time. But I know people that eat this, like, what are we having for tonight? Well, we're having top sirloin beef from Carnival. Okay, hold on a second. What happened to the stockpile? Well, I'm stockpiling it, but I'm eating it at the same time. It's uncooked meat. It's premium grass-fed beef. No hormones, no antibiotics, no artificial flavors, no preservatives, just pure beef. They have chicken, they have pork. Same thing. No additives, no garbage. And they've been able to figure out how to package it and keep it fresh, and it's not cooked. So you cook it. My producer, Nick, told me, I didn't know this, is every single thing on that product, to include the packaging is made in America. Why wouldn't you go to American-made company? Not even if it was like subpar to other companies, I would say you need to go to the other company. It's not subpar. It's excellent. It's amazing. I want you to go to carnival.com. Carnival.com. We have it on the screen, and use promo code JJ10. Promo code JJ10. You get 10% off. Nick, if you can please play this. I love their commercial. That's why I'm going to have Nick play it. It's like 30 seconds. I want you to see this. On their website, they have recipes on how to cook, what kind of herbs, seasonings to add. It's amazing. Watch this.
Make great meals anytime with Carnival.
Carnival. Carnival.com. Promo code JJ10. JJ10. I love our sponsors. American made, being prepared. I love our sponsors. I want you to watch this video of Ilhan Omar. She's going on all of the shows. All of the shows. A shark by nature. I will give her credit. She is a shark. She attacks. But lately, she's not attacking. She's nervous. I want you to watch this and let's talk about just her. But listen to what she says with that stupid, dirty rag on her head.
So there are 80,000 people of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch. Take a listen.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much, everybody.
That knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district to have that from the highest office in the land.
It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting. These are Americans that he is calling garbage. And we feel like there is an unhealthy obsession that he has on the Somali community, and an unhealthy and creepy obsession that he has with me. I think it is also really important for us to remember that this kind of hateful rhetoric and this level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
And 95% of the Somalis in your state are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Just for clarity there.
Yeah, for clarity, sweetheart, we can also denaturalize them and kick their sorry asses out of our country. And I want you, I hope that you caught what I catch with Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar, like I said, is a shark. She's a predator. All 103 pounds of her, she's a predator. She is tenacious. I will give her that. And she attacks like a shark. She's not attacking, is she? I've watched multiple shows she's on, and her speech is halting. She's unsure what to say. She looks afraid. Why? Why did you just go from this killer shark, going for the jugular for every time, talking about Trump and white people and Americans, to now being almost soft, defensive, because you're guilty? You and your garbage people are guilty. It's just the way it is. How does 88% of Somalians are on welfare? How does 80+% of all crime in Minneapolis, which is a big city, is caused by Somalis? If you look at Somalis across the Western landscape, Western Europe, etc., the vast majority of Somalis are on some kind of public assistance. They are takers. They are destroyers. I want you to listen to this clip from Laura Ingraham as she talks to this gentleman about Ilhan Omar and her ilk.
I mean, it's breathtaking, it's shocking, and the traditional American story is that immigrant groups would come over, they would learn the American customs, they would learn how to speak English, they would try to assimilate into the culture. And if they had bad elements in their own culture, for example, Italian Americans had the mafia, it's incumbent upon them to reject that kind of criminal activity and then to correct it. So you had famous Italian Americans like Rudy Giuliani going after the mafia. But in Minneapolis, we have precisely the opposite. The Somali community leaders like Ilhan Omar are defending the very people who committed billions of dollars in fraud. They're ripping off taxpayers and exploiting the high-trust social safety net established by Minnesotans in the past. It is absolutely outrageous. And I think the president, again, I don't like all the language. I feel the same way as you do. But the president is right to hammer these people and especially to hammer the leaders. I mean, it's breathtaking. It's shocking.
Here's what I love about what he said. I like, number one, I disagree. I love the language. Why am I going to call the Somali people anything else except garbage? They just stole $8 billion. They didn't steal $8. They stole $8 billion. That means everyone in the community was involved. They were involved in the autism scheme, the Feed Your Children scheme, the Section 8, the welfare, the cash benefits, everything. Everyone in that community was involved. They're known as Somali pirates. But he makes a very good point. Like my family is, my dad's side, Native American and Hungarian. So let's say that my father, or let's say I did, he moved back to Hungary with my mom, had me as Hungarian, and I come to America. Nothing in my pockets, nothing. And I want to be a U.S. citizen. And Montana brings me in, my family. And we have nothing. We got the clothes on our backs. That's it. And other Hungarians that came with us begin to steal and rob. Am I going to side with them? Or am I going to side with the people that brought me in and helped me through religious groups, helped me through the government, helped me get on my feet, and enabled me to begin to be prosperous in America? That I have a shelter over my head during the cold months, that I have a job, I have clothes, my kids can go to school, I have access to medical care until I can begin to become a full-fledged taxpaying American. I would turn the Hungarians in and say, they don't represent me. They're a bunch of scumbags. I love America. I'm here for America. I'm going to do everything I can for this nation. No, they don't do that. They circle their wagons and they call us racist. We're the problem. Wait a minute, sweetheart. You just stole $8 billion. And you're siding with your people because your people are the Somalian people. They're not American people. And we need to always, always remember that when it comes to these foreigners that are in our government. They do not care about you. You could die. They simply don't care about you. This is the biggest scam maybe ever. Listen to Stephen Miller, who's someone that I greatly admire because he just says it like it is, and he is spot on here. Go ahead.
We have found so far, we believe that the Somali fraud operation in Minnesota is the single greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare fraud in American history. We believe that we have only scratched the very top of the surface of how deep this goes. And you're familiar with all the scams with pretending that children have autism who are not in fact autistic, with pretending to enroll people in food programs when in fact nobody was ever enrolled, and engaging in massive fraud, lying, and theft and grift on a scale we've never seen before in American history. The total bill, the total tab for this is going to be far beyond the numbers we've already seen reported. We believe the state government is fully complicit in this scheme, and we believe that what we are going to uncover is going to shock the American people. Look, based on the records that we already have, and this is a significant undercount, by the way, 75% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare. But that's likely a significant undercount of just how much of a financial burden the Somali refugee population is imposing on this country.
Think about what he's saying. It's not like they got here yesterday. As Ilhan Omar tried to tell us the other day, well, Somalians have been the fabric of America forever. What? When did they come here? Was it like the 1890s? Nope. That'd be the 1990s. So they have been here 35 years. They're not part of the fabric of America, but you've been here long enough to have at least one generation to get off of welfare. You have 1, 2, and now going into the third generation completely on the dole of the American taxpayer. Why is America paying for Somali pirates to be in our country? Why did Obama flood them into our nation in the tens of thousands into very specific freezing cold areas and change the demographics and then thus allow them to vote in their own people? Because they want to fundamentally transform America. We have allowed the most vile, the most intellectually deficient people into our country from the third world. Donald Trump must ban every third world shithole from ever bringing anybody over to our country. The average IQ of a Somalian is around 68. IQ number of 70 marks retardation. We immigrated to America. Hundreds of thousands of retarded Somali pirates. And we all sit around here and we're all wondering, how did they steal that much money? And somebody made a great point, and I'd like to end with this. The people that stole our money, 8 billion and counting, are functionally retarded. They are mentally retarded, clinically diagnosed. What in God's name have the wealthy, the intelligent people stolen? That should keep us all up at night.